Now, the Indian government expects this festive season to see bumper Diwali spending triggering the market and the economy. And those expectations are driven by the government's decision to lower goods and services tax rates to come before Diwali. Prime Minister Modi pledged to bring down the GST rates last week on his Independence Day address. And this was to boost consumer spending. That is to offset any fallout from US President Donald Trump's tariffs. Reports show that plans to rationalize and lower GST rates on common goods would lead to price decreases, so businesses can expect a booming Diwali speculation. Speculations are for the government to do away with high rates and bring many goods under lower rate brackets. Reports show as part of GST rationalization, the centre plans to scrap the existing 12% and 28% slabs, keeping only 5% and 18% GST rates. GST on regular goods are likely to be lowered to zero from the current 5% rate. Air conditioners and large televisions with screens above 32 inches are likely to come under the 18% GST bracket instead of the current 28%, and that would result in a 10% reduction in the final bill. Small cars and two-wheelers would likely see a similar reduction in GST from 28% to 18%. Now, that measure is aimed at stimulating demand and is expected to favor entry-level vehicles. According to Gaura Sen-Gupta, chief economist at IDFC, the move is anticipated to increase nominal GDP growth by 0.6% over the next 12 months. Because of their broader reach, indirect tax cuts are more effective in stimulating growth than direct ones. She added that durable goods consumption would get a boost from lower GST rates. And to discuss this further, I'm now being joined by Gaura Sen-Gupta, chief economist at IDFC First Bank, joining me live from Mumbai. Welcome to the broadcast. Let's begin right with it. What relief do you expect in GST, and what do you think will be the impact on consumer spending and the economy come Diwali?
So thank you. So definitely it's a good move. As you mentioned that the reach of indirect tax basically is much wider because especially the products that are covered via GST, it's all within daily usage for goods as well as services. And this is quite a significant shift where two tax brackets, this is again based on press sourcing, the reporting by the press that around basically the 12% bracket as well as the 28% bracket will be removed, and the main tax slabs will be the 5% and the 18%. So you will see a reduction in prices for even, let's say, processed food items, which will get shifted from the 12% to the 5% tax slab. Then you will see consumer durables, some of the more higher end consumer durables, which are in the 28% bracket, they can be shifted to the 18% bracket. So from a nominal GDP perspective, we see a 0.6% boost over the next 12 months through this measure, assuming the government has indicated that this simplified reduced tax rate GST will be in place before the festival season or the main festival. So let's say starting off October. But again, this is a proposal made by the centre. It has to get approved by centre and states. And so there is a little bit of regulatory work that needs to be done.
Understood.
Apart from that, on inflation, we definitely expect maybe around 0.6 to 0.8% reduction in CPI inflation for the next 12 months. It depends on how much gets passed through by producer. So you see a boost to growth as well as reduction in consumer inflation.
I hear your point. Gaura, you've mentioned it briefly, but I wanted to get into a little more specific territory here. Any specific goods and sectors that you believe which are likely to get this boost?
Definitely the higher end consumer durable sectors where you will have like the air conditioners, etc. That particular item where you'll get a large chunk moving from the 28 to the 18%, and also the timing of it getting coincided with the festival season, which as such you see a pickup in purchasing activity for these items. food is mostly, I would say, a more of a necessity rather than luxury. So the consumer goods durable part of the consumption basket will get a sort of a fillip thanks to this move by the government.
And Gaura, also the upcoming Diwali and festive season, do you foresee some kind of a bumper boost here when these rate changes come into play?
I would say it is a much needed move. I think the clear change between this year and last year is like till maybe the start of the year, it was the RBI which was on the forefront with 100 basis point cut in interest rates, liquidity infusion. Now we are beginning to see the fiscal side of the policy response to support growth. So the center started off with a large cut under the new income tax regime. Then they have followed it up with GST. So they are trying to give an indirect tax cut boost to consumption. And both of these measures, your monetary policy, fiscal policy, is coming at a time where you see urban demand struggling. The reason why urban demand has been struggling is because the urban wage growth has slowed. So this definitely will provide some much needed boost. We also have to keep in mind that though India's growth is, we expect for this year maybe around 6.3% for FY26. If you put it in the global context, it's still one of the fastest growing economies, but we are growing lesser than what we are capable of, which again, you have indications of that. For example, you look at core inflation in India, which is near historical lows. It's telling you that there is slack in the economy, that we are capable of growing much faster. It's just that we are operating in a very volatile global environment with the tariffs and the fact that, the trade side of the demand globally is weakening. And in that sort of environment, India is able to deliver more than 6% growth consistently, which is, I would say, remarkable in a way. But definitely growth requires policy support. And now we are seeing the fiscal side also come in. So we would still say this reduces some of the downside risks that growth was facing from, let's say, the escalation in tariff tensions with the US.
Yes.
It kind of balances that out. So the timing couldn't have been better.
Gaura Sengupta, thanks so much for joining us here on World Business Watch and sharing all your insights. Of course, the next few months are going to be eventful, to say the least. And India's growth story is definitely, as you rightly pointed out, it's been remarkable given the kind of circumstances we're growing in. Gaura Sengupta joining us from Mumbai.